I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on her. Kathleen was born August 1st, 1924. She grew up on her parents' dairy farm with one brother and 3 sisters. She and her siblings had different chores to do as they had cows for the dairy farm. And she always remembered neighbors hanging a basket. She would say the neighbors would hang one on them and they would hang them on them. Her mother took her to school with a team of horses for quite a few years. Her mother drove that team and took them to school. And in the winter, she took them to school in the sleigh. It's something a lot of these kids have never heard of. In the summer, they would pitch hay by hand onto a wagon and then take it to the barn. She said once at the barn, there was a big hook that would be brought down from the ceiling and set it. Then they would ride the horse out of the barn to pull the hay up that hook up into the mound and drop it. That was pitching off the hay. The one thing I remember she mentioned a couple times was Santa Claus came to see her when she was quite young. And they were in their bedroom when they saw Santa outside. So he came into their living room and put presents under their tree. The one time he brought her was an elephant, and to this day she collects elephants. And I saw her collection of elephants. It's cute. She lived in Brap until she was 14 years old. Then she and her family moved to Bangor, and she attended Bangor High School. She and Shirley Smith were married in 1947, and they moved to Kenduskeag in 1948. Her father had a house on Broadway for her and Shirley. They only lived there for a few months, but Shirley pined for his hometown of Kenduskeag. So they returned to Kenduskeag and moved in with his parents. Shortly after that, they moved to the middle apartment up over the post office, and I believe that's the one that used to sit right on the corner where our little park is. They lived there until Stacy was going to be born, and then began to look for a better place. She had a niece who lived next door and told about the place that was for sale. Well, they went right down the next day and bought it, just ahead of another couple. Another note was Shirley joined the Kenduskeag Fire Department, and he was involved in it for the rest of his life. Kate participated in many events in Kenduskeag. She was very active and still is at the Kenduskeag Union Church. She taught Sunday school. At one time, she was superintendent of the church, of which she is still a member. She was also involved with the Grange for many years. She was on the school board for 17 years and also was a room mother at the Kenduskeag School. And in the summer, she was involved in arranging to have a traveling dental clinic come to the school for the students. And many of the kids in the area back then, they didn't go to the dentist, so it was a big help for them. And she was quite instrumental in getting that started. She was also a scout leader when Stacy was a Girl Scout. And also Shirley competed, her husband, in the Kenduskeag canoe races for many years.
Hi, Dave.
Kay did work outside of the home. She was a bookkeeper at the Bangor Osteopathic Hospital and worked there until Stacy was born. Kay and Shirley had a big garden every year. So Kay did a lot of canning and freezing of the vegetables. She also remembered doing the candied apples, and everyone loved those at Halloween time. They would have over 100 kids come trick-or-treating for her candied apples. She also remembered when a lot of the kids used to slide down the big hill. It's just over next to her, beyond her sister's house, the Bradfords. There's a big hill that you can slide down. She enjoyed her neighborhood because she had her sister live next door, and she really appreciated that. And then they would go down to what was the Philbrick farm then. It's now the Roselle farm. And they would get their milk, it was raw milk back then, to drink. Her family would pick fiddleheads and dig greens, and she canned and froze greens to have for the winter. And she still digs greens in the spring now, you would mention. Kay's a very active lady. If she looks 98, you wouldn't know it. She went picking blueberries the other day. She told me she was Stacy, I believe it was. And you went up to Greenville the other day with you and your sister. She still drives. She maintains her own home and she works part-time over the RM flag. So, it is a great honor and a pleasure if you would come forward.
Yeah, Dave.
We want to present her with a gold chain. In observance for being our eldest citizen of Kenduskeag. Now there's going to be wording on here, but I didn't get it quite quick enough. And the people that are doing it, they also do it on the veterans, the Co-Museum Veterans sticks also. So we're going to have written on here, Kenduskeag eldest citizen. But I didn't get it quick enough to have it done. Also, Jim Smith is doing pictures, and those are going to be on the Facebook. So if anyone wants to do those, he's going to put those right on this afternoon. And so you are welcome to view those. Pastor Williams, would he like to speak a few words?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
No.
After he takes that last bite.
I'm going to take the microphone to him.
Oh, that'd be good.
Oh.
That's right.
Don't pop.
I can talk right from here. How's that?
Perfect.
Good, huh? Back in '92, July 1st, Mary Jane and I began a ministry at Columbia Street Baptist Church. And that's where we first met Kay and Stacy and Joe when we were at the church in Bangor. In '98, February 1st, we resigned there, and Mary Jane and I became like resource personnel for our denomination. So there's a bunch of years when we didn't see Kay. And then we came here back in 2019, and lo and behold, here was Kay. And there were years between when we didn't see her, but Kay hadn't changed.
Yeah.
She was still the same Kay. And it was good to see her again, to reconnect, and now she's here pretty much on a regular basis, and that's really wonderful. Today it was good to see Stacy and Joe again. Are they still here?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, okay. It was just nice, for us it's been nice to reconnect with Kay. She's a kind of a quiet person, but very consistent, very committed, and loves her Lord, and is very faithful. And always when she goes out, she has something nice to say to you. Always something that's encouraging. She has a very positive spirit. And it's just been good to see her and to see her at 98 doing all that she is doing. So Ken, for Mary Jane and for me, it's a pleasure to be here at a time when you're being honored in this fashion. It's just great to have that happen. So thank you all for making this possible for Kay. And thank you for the lady here who provided the sound.